I would I would suggest when you're just starting out, um, putting to like creating content for or doing the things that are in service to what will help best convert people or get people to buy. So if you need to provide a lot of education about your product or about your service, then it's create a bunch of content that speaks to that. Like what it's like, maybe if you provide a service, then you could create a bunch of content around like what it's like to work with you, what services you provide, right? Like maybe even create some educational content for that are kind of around tutorials, like how to do the service that you provide in a lightweight way. So that over time, as people consume that, they'll understand like, oh, I can trust Lisa. Like I can buy her product or her service because I know that she knows what she's doing. So I would say that. I would say it's good to, you know, do the foundational stuff. Like have your website, make sure all the correct info is there, and then even just pick one social channel. And like the best social channel is the ultimately I think it's the one that you want to be on. Like if you hate Instagram, you hate creating visual content, then like you probably shouldn't be there. But ideally it's the social platform where you like being there and your audience is also there. And so
Sorry, my
being
camera
there, oh, no worries. And just being on that platform and really trying to create valuable, easy to digest content there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you
so
for the
much, Lisa.
question.
All right. I'm going to take two more from our Q&A. One, I think, Amanda, I saw early on was like, you mentioned, what was the number? It's like the number of steps in B2, the number of steps to track. And the question was like, is that metric specific to B2B? Why can't I find it?
Was it the rule of seven thing?
Yes, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And the
think
question
I
was like,
think it
is,
was. Yeah, I think it was B2B. Where is that? I feel like it's one of those like common things that I see often. Like I like Googled and I was like, oh, everyone knows this.
yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
yes,
I
it
think
is
so. Yeah.
B2B. And then where is it? Oh my gosh, I feel like there's like an influx of questions right now that I lost the ones I pinned for us to ask.
It's okay.
Let's do this.
I'll answer. I'll pick one then.
Oh,
There's a LinkedIn one that has 7 upvotes. From Sarah Hunt. LinkedIn posts coming from my company's channel perform so much worse than our colleagues' ones. How can we fix this? Great question. This is very common because who wants to follow a company page? Um, the way I see it is like maybe try to make the main goal for your company page to be how can I make it as easy as possible for anybody who purposefully goes to our page to make it easy for them to understand what we do and why we're valuable? Like, just so it's straightforward, right? Like, get rid of the jargon that's like the only world-class turnkey automated solution, blah, 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 blah. Like, just like, what is it, right? Like, what problems do you solve? And just speak to that. And then by that, I also mean like include your company news, right? Like if you have key hires, like you should announce that. That stuff should be on LinkedIn. So that again, anybody who is going to your page on purpose can read it and think like, oh great, I know what they do. This makes sense to me. Cool. If I ever decide to buy, I know I can go here. Like what would make someone kind of think all those things? And then the other thing I'll say is what you could do is treat your company page like just the company feed. What's happening at the company? What new products do you have? What new features do you have? And then what your employees do or what you do as individuals, right? That's your point of view on the company. So your company, software company launches a new feature. Cool. Company page says new feature, lets you do this thing. Like I get that like the broader audience might not care about that, but then you as the employee, you can repost that, you can comment on that and say, hey, I'm excited about this feature. Like I worked really hard on this, or like I'm so excited for our customers. This is going to make it so much easier for them to export their data. Like that, like have your employees participate, obviously to the extent that they're comfortable. And like help to make that company page feel more human.
All right. The last question that we will take is, I think it's a good one. How would you quantify community as a channel in the context of this zero-click discussion, especially since you said SparkToro has seen a lot come in through community?
That's interesting. Like, I quantify it and yet I don't quantify it. Like, I don't see it as like, based on all my intel, like I know that we've generated 112 discussions. Like I don't know that, like I really don't. There's no way for me to really track that. But what I look at is things like my interactions with the SparkToro community. And that's very much like in this decentralized way, because what I'm referring to is replies to customer support tickets, replies to the newsletter. When we have a webinar like on Goldcast, it's what is the sentiment in the chat? Like, what are people talking about? Are they excited to be there? Are they confused? Or even partner webinars like these, right? This, to me, is an extension of the SparkToro community. There are some people here who are very familiar with us and some people who are not. But to me, this is one big community. So what I'm looking at is kind of more holistically, like, what are the kinds of questions people have here? Like, it doesn't have to be all about like SparkToro, right? And I don't expect that. But to me, I'm looking at, do people care about zero-click content or zero-click marketing? Are they curious about a better way to quantify what they're doing? Are they looking at better KPIs? Like, all those things matter to me as the VP of marketing at SparkToro, where I'm trying to sell this software, right? So like I look at these things more holistically like that. And so while I don't really like quantify it as like 112 discussions, 40%, were high value, like I don't know that, right? It's sort of like this qualified, quantified way of kind of looking at our whole marketing efforts. And then from there, I do look at the other things like, has our email list grown? What are our open rates like? What is the general engagement on our social channels? Are we getting engagement? Those are the things that are more quantifiable in terms of like seeing those raw numbers.
Yeah, I think Metadata for a while was a really active community for me. And I asked them that question of like, how are you tracking this? Because they are very aligned with like a demand market persona. And they actually said one of the lowest hanging fruit for them was on any type of form to sign up for the community, there was a checkbox to request a demo of their product. And like if people checked, it was like an easy way to track. But that said, it was very collectively the same thing where it's like directionally, are more people talking about you? Are more people talking about you when you're not present in the room? How often are you coming up like unprompted? And I think it's the word of mouth. How did you hear about us? Oftentimes you see it coming through that community. But I thought that was a good one to end on, just because if you are looking to be part of SparkToro's community, I believe you have an event in the fall, right, Amanda? If you want to share some info about that.
We do. Thank you, Cindy. We have our second in-person Spark Together event. So this year is going to be a 2-day event. This is going to be on October 15th and 16th. It's 2 days because we are also going to have the first day will include an optional SparkToro audience research training where you can come meet me and Rand and Casey. We're going to do a live demo, teach you how to do really tactical things with your marketing strategy through SparkToro. After that, we will walk over to happy hour together for the welcome reception. And then the following day is a full day conference. And this full day conference, it's really just raw, vulnerable stories of the things in marketing and business that worked and didn't work. So last year we had lots of people laughing. We had lots of tears shed. And what we also do is we also have this guided mastermind. So where we encourage people to come with a business problem and then we unpack it together. So last year, like I talked about it, like it's kind of like a corporate retreat that everybody's invited to. We try to make it really inclusive, try to make it really fun and engaging and just really high value. So please come on out to Seattle, get your tickets. Hopefully we'll hang out.
And you guys didn't record last year, right? Because I remember everyone
No,
posting about it after, and I was like, what was the content? It was like, it wasn't recorded, which is
not
really, really
recorded.
special. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
So
part of it too. It's because we ask our speakers to tell a story that they've never told before and likely won't tell again. And we ask people to include like some confidential stuff that they don't want to be public. So, they use their discretion too, right? But they will really share like the raw numbers. People will share revenue numbers, failures, things like that. So it is a warts and all kind of presentation. Like, yeah, there's lessons learned, right? There can be some best practices, but overall, it's like, no, here is the gnarly truth. Like, this is what happened. This is what didn't work for us. And I think that's the best way to learn. I mean, I feel like all the
totally.
like tips and how-tos works really, really well for webinars, right? Where you can take notes and you keep the recording. But when it comes to the stuff that happens live, not recorded allows for more candor, allows for vulnerability, transparency. And that's what that's the whole point of meeting in person, right? For those candid interactions.